Hey y'all, this is Karlavarek Jaguar coming at y'all with another video. This is part 2 of my earlier video of my final first round mock draft of the season. I will be bringing y'all my reaction to Fallout of round 1 tomorrow night. And then I will do that again Friday night and again Saturday night after the second and third round on Friday and the final 4 rounds on Saturday. Now, and I will also bring my draft grades for the entire draft soon as well. So come on and check those out as well. And now, before I continue, if y'all would please hit that subscribe button and like this video, comment, and let me know what you think, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss another video when I upload again. Now, for part 2 of my final mock draft, we go to the Oakland Raiders, who have traded up with the New York Giants. Yes, they traded up with the Giants. The Giants got a tackle to protect their quarterback, and now they're going to get some more picks. So they traded back with the Raiders, got the 24th overall pick and the 35th overall pick as well. With that pick, the Raiders select Mississippi State and DK Metcalf's running mate, A.J. Brown. Yeah, they could have possibly gotten him at 24, but in this scenario, the Ravens are also interested in A.J. Brown as well, and they sit number 22. And the Seahawks could be interested in a guy like him as well, because they could use another big receiver as well. So the Raiders play it safe and get the guy that they want to add another piece to their offense. A.J. Brown brings a different style of play than the other two receivers that the Raiders have. They traded for Antonio Brown, who is a stud, but he's got some issues with the way he acts. He's not the best teammate, basically. He's kind of selfish. He's got a big ego, but he's a supremely talented receiver. And Antonio Brown would and will make the Raiders a better team from a production standpoint, at least on the offense. But they need a guy who's going to be that future number 2 receiver next to him and possibly take over as the number 1 as age begins to eventually take over on Antonio. And of course, Tyrell Williams will be the number 3 receiver in the offense in this scenario. Moving on to number 18, the Minnesota Vikings will be selecting Jonah Williams, probably the most versatile of the top offensive linemen, other than maybe Cody Ford out of Oklahoma. But Jonah Williams out of Alabama was at one point thought to be the best offensive line prospect in this class, and he is falling a little bit in this mock. And the reason being is because some believe he's better suited to play guard than tackle. I think he can still play tackle. I really do. But whether he plays guard or tackle, it don't matter. Minnesota needs the help on the offensive line. He can plug and play immediately in one of those spots. He will dramatically help that team and help keep Kirk Cousins upright, and maybe they might actually be able to recapture the NFC North. Although Chicago is looking pretty hard to stop right now as well. So Minnesota might have to settle for a wild card spot. But adding Jonah Williams would definitely help the Vikings. Moving on to number 19. And I know there's going to be some Titans fans out there. But y'all, I'm sorry to say, but I can't stand the Titans. Now, That's not going to change the fact that I'm going to try to give y'all a good player here. I'm going to try. And I've heard that the Titans could use another edge rusher. And in that case, the best edge rusher is that's still on the board right now is FSU's Brian Burns. And I have him slated to the Titans. I've seen them having Drew Lock, trading up for Drew Lock or getting Drew Lock. But even if he were on the board, I don't see why they would take him in anyways. It wouldn't make sense. They have a pretty good team. They just need a few extra pieces, and they just need Mariota to stay healthy. So, and plus their offensive line was beat up with injuries as well last year. The Titans very well could still make the playoffs. They are a good team, and it hurts me to say that. It really does, but I think Brian Burns can add an extra dimension to their defense. So, going on to number 20 now with the Pittsburgh Steelers, my mom's favorite team. She bleeds black and gold. Troy Polamalu, Hines Ward, Jerome the Bus Bettis, 3 of her all-time favorite players. So, to try to help her team get back to the playoffs, I am projecting cornerback Byron Murphy to the Steelers. Is he going to be the best corner in the draft? I don't think so. But he is the most polished corner, and he's most ready to play now, and he can fit just about any system. So I think he has a very good shot of being one of the best corners in the draft. But I think other players, like DeAndre Baker, or Greedy Williams, or even Rock Ya-Sin, may end up having the better career. In fact, I think that Ya-Sin might actually end up being the best corner in the draft, but he is a little raw compared to Murphy. Now moving on to 21, Seattle's first of 2 first-rounders thanks to the trade of Frank Clark to the Chiefs. Here I have him selecting an edge rusher in Clelin Ferrell out of Clemson. Ferrell's going to be a good edge rusher. He's a bigger bodied rusher, but I do believe that he can have a perennial double sack a year career. I do believe that he can get at least 9 to 11 sacks consistently every year. Maybe not in his rookie year, but year 2, year 3, year 4, I think he'll do just fine and have about 9 to 11 sacks per year, which is good production. You don't expect a player from that portion of a draft to be a 15 sack type of guy. You know, that's something you tend to hold for guys who are going first overall, like the Browns, Myles Garrett. You expect him to hit 15 plus sacks a year, every year, because he was the first overall pick. At pick number 21, you kind of tamp that down a bit, but even still, if he has a long enough career at 10 sacks per season, for the most part, could still get him into the Hall of Fame one day, especially if he gets Super Bowls with Seattle. And right now, Seattle needs someone who's going to be able to get after the quarterback, especially now that Frank Clark is gone. Sorry about that, y'all. It's been a long day. But, I don't edit. So when I do make a mistake, whether it be with my tripping over my words, I don't edit. I'm real. So, anyways, I do believe that Frank Clark's replacement could very well be Clelin Ferrell, and I do believe that he will be a good pass rusher in this league. Maybe not elite by any means, but I do believe that he is worth the 21st overall pick. And I think he will be a very good pass rusher in the league. And with Seattle's defensive mentality, I believe that he can actually do extremely well there. Seattle might actually be the best fit for Clelin Ferrell. And he could very well end up having 15 plus sacks in multiple seasons. So, yes, I do believe that he will have a very good career. He's still raw, but he's good. He's good. He's a good player. Now, coming in at number 22, we have the Baltimore Ravens sitting there, and they will be taking N'Keal Harry, the wide receiver out of Arizona State. Harry did not have a most impressive combine by any means, but he has one thing that the other receivers don't have, and that's he is extremely good at the jump balls. And Lamar Jackson is not the best thrower of a football by any means. He's good, better than Blake Bortles. I'll definitely give him that. Bortles was horrible, but Jackson is a pretty good player, and he could very well develop into one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. He actually, when he took over for Joe Flacco, he actually brought the Ravens back into the playoff contention and actually into the playoffs itself. So, I do believe that he's a defensive tackle of the Eagles now. But Lamar Jackson could very well be one of the better quarterbacks in the league, but he needs a pass catcher who can catch those balls that he'll just throw up there for his guy to go get. And N'Keal Harry is the best at doing that in this draft. And he is a big-bodied receiver, so you don't expect him to be super fast. But he is pretty good, and he is only 20 years old. So he can only get better. So it's a pretty good pick for number 22. Moving on to number 23, I have the Houston Texans, another division rival of mine in the AFC South, but they desperately need offensive line. And a good one is sitting there at 23 with Cody Ford out of Oklahoma. He's probably the most versatile of the guys coming in to this first round of offensive linemen. He can play all over the line. Just like a potential second rounder in Dalton Reisner, he can also play all over the offensive line. So there are some versatile offensive linemen in this draft. Cody Ford happens to be one of the best ones. And he tends to stay healthy too, which is a plus. Because the Texans, they need that. They need a healthy offensive lineman. They don't need to keep drafting or signing guys who just will get hurt all the time. They need someone who's going to be healthy and be able to protect Deshaun Watson, because Watson got sacked a bunch for the last 2 years. And the Texans can't let that happen. They can't keep that going on. Watson has already had 2 torn ACLs. If he tears it again, who knows what could happen to his career. So Cody Ford will help solidify the right side of the offensive line in Houston. Now moving on to number 24. This is the Giants' pick now after trading back with the Raiders. And they will select Duke's quarterback, Daniel Jones. Not Dwayne Haskins. He's already off the board. Dwayne Haskins is off the board. So they traded back and got Daniel Jones, who seems to be a Giants type of quarterback. He's very much a lot like Eli Manning with a little bit more mobility. So he can sit in the pocket and make throws, but he can also get outside the pocket and make things happen on his feet, like Blake Bortles. He's probably just about as mobile as Blake. And in fact, if the Giants' offensive line is better than what Bortles had in Jacksonville for most part of his career, Jones can do pretty good getting outside the pocket and running for it, because he does have that kind of mobility that Bortles had. And Bortles was at his best when he was getting out of the pocket and scrambling. And Daniel Jones could very well be the same kind of quarterback. Only probably a better passer than Bortles. Bortles was bad. But Jones might very well could be a much better player than Blake. And they're not spending the third overall pick, so that's also a plus. And they got an extra pick in the deal as well, so that helps too. Maybe if I were to continue this, I might have given him a weapon, maybe, hypothetically, Kelvin Harmon out of NC State. But I'm not doing a second round. I'm just sticking with a first. So, moving on to the number 25 overall pick. This is the Eagles, and I have him taking Greg Little, the offensive tackle, out of Mississippi. He's a bit raw, but he's got a really good offensive tackle to sit behind, and that's Jason Peters. The problem is Peters is old. He's injury prone now, so Little may have to step in at some point this year. But Eagles fans, if Peters can teach Little how to be a really good left tackle in the league, it could be very good for the Eagles and good for Peters too, because when he does eventually retire, he won't be leaving the Eagles in a bad situation on the offensive line. So, if Peters is willing to teach Little, that would be great, because Peters is not going to last much longer. He is going to retire probably within the next 2 years. So they do need a replacement. And I do believe that Greg Little could be that guy if he's taught well by the coaching staff and by Jason Peters himself. Now moving on to number 26, the Indianapolis Colts. Another team I don't really like that much because of, well, the fact that I'm a Jags fan. But that aside, trying to help y'all out, Colts fans, trying to give y'all a good player. And I hear y'all need another safety to pair up with Hooker. And so this guy we have for y'all is a guy who can play strong safety or free safety. And that is Jonathan Abram. He's a really good safety and possibly the best safety in this draft class. And he is a hitter. And when you have to face Leonard Fournette when healthy twice a year, you need a safety who's willing to hit him. So, and Derrick Henry as well in Tennessee. You got to be able to hit him and hit him early and get him off his game. And Abram can do that. And he's also pretty good in the pass as well, but he's probably a better box safety. So let Hooker roam the secondary and let Abram help out in the middle of the field as an enforcer. That will really help your defense. Coming in at number 27, the Oakland Raiders, their final pick of the first round. And I have them going with Greedy Williams, cornerback LSU, DBU, as LSU has been called. They have produced several really good defensive backs, including former Cardinals and Houston's safety, and now Chiefs safety, Tyrann Honey Badger Mathieu. So, I do believe that Greedy will be one of the better corners in the draft. He is more of a guy who's going to try to make the flashy plays happen, but he needs to be a little more technically sound in his position, especially when he's press covering. But I do believe he's the guy who's going to be more of a ball hawk over Murphy. Murphy is going to be the guy who's going to make the sure tackles. Greedy's going to be going after the flashy plays. And DeAndre Baker is going to be the guy who's going to take away your top receiver and just shut him down. And Ya-Sin is going to be that physical guy. I probably would say if I had to compare Ya-Sin to anyone, it probably would be Jalen Ramsey physically. He's going to be physical like Ramsey. So some teams going to like that. And Ya-Sin very well could be a top 30 pick. He very well could go anywhere in between the Steelers, Raiders, or Rams. Any of the teams could draft Ya-Sin. I have a Raiders taking Greedy here because, well, John Gruden likes flashy. So I very well think he could take Greedy there. Going in at number 28, the Los Angeles Chargers. They need help on the interior of the offensive line, so I have them taking Eric McCoy, who can play guard or center. That will very much help the offensive line. They need it a lot. So I think that could be a very good pick for them. Coming in at number 29, Seattle, Nasir Adderley, a safety. This guy very well could be the next Earl Thomas. He's got that kind of flashy play style. So I think this is a very good pick for Seattle. Coming in at number 30, Green Bay Packers, Marquise Brown, wide receiver, Oklahoma. Randall Cobb is out of Green Bay. So they need a new guy who's going to go up the field and make deep, allow Aaron Rodgers to throw the ball deep and make big catches, or also have a lot of yards after the catch. Even if it's only a 5-yard pass, he can still make people miss and get those 30, 40-yard gains on one play. So Marquise Brown, along with Noah Fant in Green Bay, that'd be really good, especially when you now have a offensive coordinator who's supposed to be creative in Nathaniel Hackett, which I always liked Hackett. I didn't fully understand the firing of Hackett because I feel like he was just a scapegoat for Jacksonville this past season. I'm very happy we have DeFilippo, though. I am. I think DeFilippo, for who we have on the team, is a better coordinator, but I do believe that Hackett is the more creative guy when you have speed on offense, and you have Noah Fant, and Marquise Brown. We have Lee on our team. Marquise Lee is a Jaguar. I think we need to trade him, but that's besides the point. Marquise Brown, along with Noah Fant and Devontae Adams, could be, with Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball, could be very dangerous for the NFC North teams to face. Now, number 31, the Los Angeles Rams get Georgia's DeAndre Baker, the cornerback. This guy's going to shut receivers down, and they need that now that they have to face Kyler Murray in Arizona. They need to be able to stop his receivers from being able to catch the ball. And so that is going to be a challenge. So they need more corners. Aqib Talib is getting older, so we definitely need more corners. Talib may retire at any year now, so definitely get a new corner in. And number 32, the New England Patriots surprise people and take Paris Campbell, the wide receiver out of Ohio State. A speedster. That's part of why I gave him to the Patriots. They are lacking receivers, and if I were to continue this draft all the way through 7 rounds, I would probably actually give them 2 more receivers in this draft. I would personally give them Andy Isabella and David Sills in the next couple of rounds, because they do need receivers badly in New England. And if I were to continue in the second round, I would probably also give them Irv Smith Jr. as well as Andy Isabella in the second round. That would be a really good draft for the Patriots. Paris Campbell, Irv Smith Jr., and Andy Isabella in the first 2 rounds. The Patriots fans would be thanking me for rebuilding their offense. And yeah, I know y'all need a defensive player, but I just don't see a defensive player being worth the pick in those spots for you guys. So this will conclude this video. I hope y'all liked it. I hope y'all like the fact that I stay real with y'all even when I make mistakes. I don't want to be fake and edit and everything. I'm not a good editor anyways, but I ain't gonna try it. Because I want to be real with you guys. I want you guys to see who I really am and actually want to watch me because I am going to be real and I am going to allow mistakes to happen and I will correct myself, but I want y'all to see that I'm going to put myself out there and not worry about mistakes because everyone makes mistakes. So anyways, see y'all next time. Bye.